Hi everyone. So another way of doing composting without you buying and investing in toolboxes for composting, and also without you digging down deep the earth, is this way that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you the materials that I will be using in composting. Of course, our collected leftover and wasted vegetables decomposed, and I also have some paper here that we're gonna mix it, and these are some of the soil that I saved for so that we can speed up the process. And you can see that there's a bag in there. There's this brown one over there. So before you, once you finish composting and before you use the soil for composting, make sure that you allow the soil to dry, because allowing the soil to dry will kill any of these bugs. Instead of these bugs will eat your plants if you don't allow them to die, right? And the best way of allowing them to dry is to deprive them from water, and that is basically that's what's available for us. If we allow the soil to dry, then there is no water, then the bugs will not survive and they will live or they will die over there. So this is composted soil, and some more of this collected leaves here. And also I also have here, my husband has just cut the lawn, and so we have some grass cuttings also, some of these grass cuttings in here, right? So we also use the grass cuttings are very good to use for composting. And so this is what I will show you. We also have here, these are collected grass cuttings, so I just collect them because this is very good, and I use this one for composting. So earthworms really loves this. So this is what I'm going to show you. Let's put this one up higher. You can see that this bucket in here, I have two holes here, one on the bottom and one on the top. The reason why we want two bottom holes on the buckets is just the earthworm will gonna go from the holes that we're gonna put on slightly under the ground, and when the earthworm are starting to work their jobs, and also any decomposing bugs that will survive inside the buckets, they do have eat and they have wasted materials and they breathe. So those carbon oxide need to have a hole to escape, and this is what the reason here. So we are also gonna close these ones once I finish putting my materials together. So I will start with small amount of compost here, and also we're gonna have to add a little bit of bulk mulch here as well, because the bulk mulch are also helpful on improving and speed upping the decomposition materials, and also some of these. So you basically like alternating or layer all your materials. So I have that one there, and I'm gonna have to put now some of these and then my composting materials here. So it will be good if you can layer them out. If not, it's also okay, because you know the bugs is gonna work on it. So just basically it. And so once I have finished putting all my materials, once you put all your materials in it, and so you can just make sure that this area is wet, right? So just make sure that this is wet, so you can have put a little bit of water so that it's wet. So I'm almost finished filling up my bucket. So as you, this is all it is. All of my ingredients are here. These are the compost materials, which is leftover foods and vegetable cuttings, and those that are not edible. And these have a compost on here, the compost that I have made from last 2 years ago, and there are some grass cuttings here, and also some bulk mulch that I added. And look at this, I also dig out some of these earthworms here, right? So those beautiful young earthworms, I'm gonna put them here in these composting machines here, in buckets in here, because this one will help me to compost. They are the one I need to eat up, to eat this food here that I have prepared for them. See how beautiful they are. Look at that, right? So they will be eating all the foods that I put together in these buckets, and also they will be survive. They will survive because I have a hole them for them so that they can breathe, and there will be more. That is more earthworms is coming through this hole as I buried this slightly under the ground. So that's it, and make sure that it's slightly wet. And so let's put a little bit of rainwater in here. Just put more rainwater. Yes, God. So it's wet in there. I make sure that that is wet, that there is some hydrated food for the earthworms. So yeah, so in about in 6 weeks or 2 months, I will turn this over into another bucket so that they can be. I have another bucket of this one, which has the same thing. Also, I prepared it the same thing. I got hole in the buckets and also hole on the top, and then that will be. I will turn this over in this another bucket. So I am done filling these buckets here. Everything of the compost materials here, some old grass cuttings, and also a little bit of leftover compost that I saved. And you can see that they are beautiful. Let me see. I'm gonna show you the beautiful some earthworms here. You can see those nice earthworms. Let's see. Let's go stop. Can you see these earthworms here? This is what we want. That is what we need. These are earth-friendly earthworms that we need. So we wanna encourage them to survive, and we want them to help us to create our compost. So we have to take care of them, and by taking care of them, make sure that this is slightly wet, but not too much water, and make sure that they have some holes that they can breathe. So we're gonna cover this one and have this cover in here. So that is covered, and that will be it. And in about 6 or 2 months, I will turn this over to another bucket like this, which also have another holes underneath it and also at the bottom. So I'm gonna turn this over so that they can mix. It's a one way of mixing it. It's just turn it over to another bucket. So in a tools with is a composting tools. The one that I showed you earlier is the one that you roll over. That is one way of mixing it. But in this case here, it's so easy because all you have to do is basically turn it over to another bucket. Another way of composting it is by digging the soil, and most people have done that, and I started actually doing that. I have dig a big area of soil, and that is where I bury my compost. The one I have, and I love it because it's faster, and there are a lot more earthworms that's built up in a buried soil. But of course, you can only bury and dig out certain amount of soil, and after that, you're gonna run out of space, right? So yeah, so this is it. So this is